Chapter 9 June 10th. Ab all night printing. At sunrise, Abooksigun took half his men to visit General Tibio. This man's land larger than the rest, and do I see a man made abound علامة استفهام. It looks like we will be doing a lot of fishing around here. Danga said as his mouth watered. Abooksigun smiled, sounds good to me. They drive up the pathway to the manhouse. Abooksigun observes the terrain. There's no sign of technology around here, but there's plenty of animals, hawks, pigs, chick, and look over there, that's an enormous garden. If we could be heard over an intercom system, Captain, I told you. I'll call you and not the other way round. Get your ass off my damn property, and where in the hell is my damn son? You've been here, and not once did you bother to tell me about my son. Deborah looked at Abooksigun, scrubbing his shoulder. Sekim also looked and shouted, he has a can. Rani said, I caught this, and took off running. He took the can from General Tibio and tied him up while the rest walked up to the house. Then he walked up to the general and grabbed the man's can, pointing it at him, and Nefis, his guardian angel, appeared before him. Now, he is a servant of Sabaoth. Before Dang could tell Abooksigun what his guardian had said, Deborah transformed into herself. And the general said, you must be the ones I've been waiting for. Abooksigun said, and tie him. And introduced himself, hello, I'm Abooksigun of Tucson. Abooksigun asked, why is a man of Sabaoth financing the enslavement of Sabaoth's people علامة استفهام. General Tibio said, I don't finance anyone nor anything. All this is from royalties from my family's past business transactions. I was born into this business for generations they did. I wasn't really into money or riches. I was into people, and as I grew older, people only wanted to be around me because of my money. All my relationships were about money. Everything and everybody were about money. I have been with plenty of women, but I wanted something genuine, and then I met my wife. She was pure, she was genuine. We were just friends even though I was taught to treat her as a lesser because she was Wakatili. She showed me what love is and can be. I admit in my younger days, I took advantage of those who only wanted me for my money. I knew by their actions, not by words, not by deeds but by their actions, and as I aged, it hit me, and I saw and knew what I wanted. I wanted grace, no lies, no deceit, just honesty. My wife initially caught me into nature, and I transferred her actions into reality and found Sabaoth. But it was my family that ran this business, and my sister and I inherited it. When she died, I took her son, Timosh, as my own. I was willing to give it to him, for he was a reflection of how I used to be, not only me but many others around here. I was going to leave it and that world to him. When I found love, I mean real love. I didn't care about any of this stuff, but it was not my call. When I was about to leave all this to Timosh before he left, Nazi Bird and told me to wait until I met his people and give it to them. And I would see my wife again. My first love, Shortity. General Tibio looked at Dang with a smile. My son is around your age, and you remind me of him so much. His mother is Shortity. Like I said, she's walked aliens, and I sent them off to her relatives down south. Walking toward a bookshelf, he pushes a button, and a small drawer opens. Maybe left kept this to me long ago. He handed the book to Abooksigun. He looked at it, the tower. General Atibio smiled, saying, "Yes, and I have many other books too. Before the muffler, Malcolm X, and many more. She taught me so much, and I love her for opening my eyes." Then asks, "Where is she now?" علامة استفهام. General Atibio smiles as he thinks about his family, in Atlanta, Georgia, near a valley called Kirkwood, on 57 Howard Street. Her parents are Robel and Cassie from the Floyd clan. I don't know what all of that means, but I'm determined to find it. I kept it and held it to memory until I left, and that will be tomorrow since you are here. By the way, I'm not a general, and Major isn't a major. Neither of us has ever been in the military. It has always amazed me how these people left titles. Only Captain Jatam was a captain of that ship. Then they smiled, past tense, wasn't. Major and past not too long ago. General Atibio shook his head. I don't know who was worst, Captain Jatam or Major. Then he shook his head and smiled again. Captain Jatam is another one who is no longer with us, and by the way, Captain Jatam murdered Timosh. General Atibio smiled. Well, you can have this land, and now you have all three. As Abooksigun, Dang, and General Atibio talked, the rest of the men walked around the property admiring the land and taking in the scenery when they came across a tiny shred filled with skycrafts they had never seen before. Old one returned after 20 minutes. Abooksigun, you got to see this. Everyone walked toward the shed, and General Atibio smiled. Oh, I see, you saw my skycrafts. I call them mosquitoes. Not much on technology, but I love to drive fast. My transportation to Atlanta. Admiring the craftsmanship, Abooksigun and Dang caught on the vehicles, and the General politely said, "They are not ready. I'm still trying to fix the generators. They are too loud and not as smooth as they need to be. I only want you to hear these things coming when it's too late. That's why I call them mosquitoes." Yell, Nez, and all their coordinates appeared before them, saying, "Sabaoth is pleased with your progress, but now you must take action. Take those in prison and perform the holy religion and teach those to compress their gifts. You will have 12 years of peace. Afterward, there will be at most violence, and all must be ready. Those who are not shall surely die." Nez turned to General Atibio, saying, "Because of your faithfulness and patience, Sabaoth has given you a new name like no other. Abooksigun shall be your name from this day forward. All must be finished before you make that journey, and you must be enlightened for your patience and obedience. You shall find peace for the rest of your days. After enlightenment and the prison break, you shall live, but you and your family must remain in Georgia until you unite with the people from here. Then make your journey to Arizona through Tulul, where Sabaoth gathers his people. Nowhere else is safe for you and your family." Abooksigun takes time to recover from his day as the man shows him their gifts, and the sight of Maisie has him in a state of awe. Abooksigun tells him about his father and mother, and the gift Sabaoth has shown his faithful followers. A thought crosses Abooksigun's mind. In a week, there will be a glorious celebration in the capital. It's called Jontenth, and the entire city will be drunk, and it is the perfect time for a prison break, and we can just walk through without any trouble. They have now acquired the entire T3 territory. Abooksigun and the entire team made adjustments throughout the land the whole week. They combined the technology and surveillance equipment while Deng, Abooksigun, and General Ibio, now called Abooksigun, made plans to overtake the prison. Hacking into the prison system, Abooksigun configured all security cameras and weapons to operate through a handheld tablet. Abooksigun says Abooksigun typing away at the computer. I see you like this technology. I never cared for it myself. Abooksigun smiled. Well, it's part of my gift from Sabaoth to understand languages, and this computer is nothing more than a bunch of languages called programs. Telling the computer what to do, and secondly, technology is science, and science is like spirituality. You can't see it's happening, but it's there, and it's happening. The entire crowd pitched into no comments for the people and created body cams and her best communication devices. The days had come and go. Early on the first day of Jontenth, Abooksigun approached Abooksigun and Deng. I made plans for you and your crew to have a stage near the end of the capital. It will be in front of an exit to the capital. I have known the series' secret passages and tunnels since I was a kid. The stage will be a front for you. Your men can exit and enter without complications. I will direct you from here using your technology for all codes and anything else that might rise. Abooksigun had a strange look. A stage علامة استفهام. Abooksigun smiled. Yes, a stage is perfect, and I have been listening to you. And your man singing, and I'm very impressed. Deng's laughter erupted. You did say if your father could sing, he would gather millions more to selfish. Here's your chance. Are you scared علامة استفهام. Abooksigun said, I hate you when you're right. Okay, let's do it, but you will be there with me. We're all going now. They went to the stage's location, best at clothing similar to theirs, and arranged the stage as to cover the secret entrance once the sun set. The people started gathering in the streets around 7 p.m., and there were different artifacts and exhibits near the opening of the capital. Abooksigun created a wall of pictures and 3D statues of historical events and figures close to the train station and near their stage. They were trying to conceal its location by placing things the people would not show interest in. Unsure who could be trusted on the day of the celebration, they gathered cases of wines and liquor from Abooksigun's cellar and passed them out all day long. Making sure not to get drunk themselves, they join in the festivities. Stages were scattered throughout the capital, people sang, and bells were performed before the sunset. The entire area celebrated and enjoyed themselves. Abooksigun walked past an exhibit detailing the beginning of Jontenth. Outraged at what he was reading, Abooksigun asked, Why do you celebrate Jontenth علامة استفهام? A man shouted, Who gives a fuck علامة استفهام? We're off for 2 weeks. Whatever the fuck the reason is, he accepted. Abooksigun chatted, people hear my voice. This is foolishness. June 10th, also known as Jubilee Day, Emancipation Day, Freedom Day, and Black Independence Day, was a federal holiday in the United States celebrating emancipation from slavery and observance of the Waukeetalians' culture. Originated in Galveston, Texas, commemorating the anniversary date of June 19, 1865, which was an enhancement of General Order No. 3 by Union Army General Gordon Granger, proclaiming freedom for enslaved people in the state of Texas, the last state of the Confederacy with institutional slavery. You see, Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, issued on January 1, 1863, freed the enslaved people in Texas and all the other southern states of the Confederacy except for parts of states still in rebellion. Enforcement of the proclamation relied upon the advance of Union troops. The remote state of the former Confederacy, Texas, had seen an expansion of slavery instead of an end and had a low presence of Union troops as the American Civil War ended. Thus, enforcement there had been slow and inconsistent before Granger's announcement. Although the Emancipation Proclamation declared an end to slavery in the Confederate States, it did not end slavery in states that remained in the Union. For a short while after the fall of the Confederacy, slavery remained legal in two states, Delaware and Kentucky. They freed those enslaved people by ratifying the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which abolished chattel slavery nationwide on December 6, 1865. The last enslaved, namely the Choctaw, were freed. I am Choctaw, and my descendant, Willis Reynolds, originally from Indianola, Mississippi, was the last slave in my family. I notice that many of you don't know how to get along because of this slave mentality. I understand, but I can't entirely agree that many of your behavior toward each other is determined. I see it, but at times I ignore it. But it does bother me a lot. But as I was saying, during the civil rights movement of the 1966, the non-violent determination to achieve civil rights plagued June 10th celebrations. But it grew in popularity again in the 1967, focusing on African American freedom and African American rights. Beginning with Texas by proclamation in 1938 and by legislation, 40 years later, in 1979, 49 U.S. states and the District of Columbia formally recognized the holiday in various ways. Its adoption in certain parts of Mexico became an international holiday. The Muskokas celebrated June 10th, and these were the descendants of the black Seminoles who escaped from slavery and settled in Coahuila, Mexico. A man chatted, maybe we need to start a church, then. Abooksigun paused, that's a good idea. He continued, as far as history is concerned, many things happened between what I have already said but recording the celebratory traditions. It often includes public readings of the Emancipation Proclamation, singing traditional songs such as Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and Lift Every Voice and Sing, and reading works by noted African American writers such as Ralph Ellis and Maya Angelou. June 10th celebrations include rodeos, street fairs, cookouts, family reunions, block parties, historical reenactments, and Miss June 10th contests. John 10th was the last Wauketerians howlidat in our old system of government, for we only had a few, like Martin Luther King Jr., the Kwanzaa, and Black History Month. The man looks at Abooksigun strangely. Let me get this right. You're telling me that we, as Wauketerians, caught freed thousands of years ago, and we're celebrating freedom when we're slaves علامة استفهام. He shook his head. That's confusing. أول فكت. Let's party. Ein. Drunken man walked up to Abooksigun. Why do your ass talk so much علامة استفهام? Stumbling before he caught himself, he continued, and why are we celebrating this shit, and we're still in bondage علامة استفهام? We're some foolish ass people. The man was about to vomit and so a liquor bottle on a table behind Abooksigun. Ha! Pass me another bottle of that gin. Passing the man the bottle, Abooksigun laughed as the man stumbled wa. Abooksigun called on their base, it's time. Abooksigun looked at the people. I have been invited to perform at one of these stages. Come on, let us show you how to celebrate the real meaning of John 10th. The people followed Abooksigun. He walked on stage, grabbed his crew by the hands, formed a circle, and bowed their heads. Abooksigun led with a prayer and ended with, let freedom ring. Then he said, let everyone say amen, and some people in the audience shouted, amen. They came out so shouted, 1, 2, 3, while clicking drumsticks together as he struck the drums. Old one started striking a keyboard, and a never-seen smile was on his face. The crowd cheered, and seconds later, the rest of the crew repeated, let's do it. Abooksigun walked in front of the crowd and sang, baby, take your time, come on baby, oh baby, take your time. You know you ought to slow down. You've been working too hard, and that's a factor. Performing, take your time, by the SO band. Run and Haufz performed, solved by Cody Mob. As the crew switched back and forth singing in different groups, the crowd was amazed and cheered them on. After an hour, they took a break. The rest F. Abooksigun's men performed plays, and some crew members used their gifts to illustrate magic tricks. The people were amazed and happy. They returned to do another set, and a man shouted, tell me, who the fuck do you think you are coming here giving people false hope علامة استفهام? A tear came to Abooksigun's eyes, and he said as he looked at the crew, let's play Akinsimble's favorite song. Abooksigun sang, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody. An old classic song by the Williams brothers. He started singing other songs like Mercy Me by Morphin K. When he was about to end his set, he saw the young lady on the train who had asked about his clothing and sang one more song. Braces. By Joe Thomas. Yeah, this feels like one of those songs. This my dedication to that shorty from the Kato soap bracelets. Old one looked at Abooksigun and felt her jealousy. After the song, Abooksigun walked up to the lady, and she smiled. I see y'all wearing the same clothes now. You trying to make a fashion statement or start a trend? Abooksigun smiled and said, both. You need to catch one before they run out. They are passing them at near our stage, if you want to catch one. Then he shouted at Abooksigun, let's go. We got to cut at F here. Abooksigun act the young lady, I'm so sorry, my name is Abooksigun. How are you doing علامة استفهام. The young lady smiled, hi, I'm Lish, as she reached her hand toward Abooksigun. Grabbing her hand Abooksigun smiled and asked, how long will you be here علامة استفهام. She said, all night. Abooksigun said, I'll be back later, I hope I find you when I get back. She smiled, you will. Leaving a few crew members behind to watch the stage, they recited the poetry and performed magic tricks. Abooksigun made their way through the secret entrance. Dan was excited as he enjoyed the celebration. Man, that was fun. We got to do that again. Abooksigun, with a smile, yes, that was fun, and that girl is beautiful, and you know what علامة استفهام. Dan said, what علامة استفهام. Shaking his head, Abooksigun said, that church thing is a good idea. There hasn't been a church around for centuries. It just might be what we need here now. Dan said, Sabbath can have us as America's most wanted, and nothing but a can stop party, and nothing but a can stop party, as Dan and Abooksigun sang, اثنان of America's most wanted, by Tupac and Snoop Dogg. As they got closer to the bridge, Dan stopped, listening to your ear. I never know the anecdotes and combatants were slaves. Abooksigun said to Dan, yeah, the transition to African slaves happened after the Moors lost their grasp on Europe when Chinese fire sticks or firearms were invented. Kings like Ikaji of Dahomey and his cowards who were called Minnow, our mothers. Ikaji stands out to me because the Minnows were female warriors known for their fierceness and courage. During the peak era of the European transatlantic slave trade, he raided and sacked all slave trading forts set up in the coastal areas of his kingdom by Europeans. King Ikaji burnt everything down and blocked supply routes because slavery conflicted with his development. Europeans tried to cut other African slave dealers against King Ikaji but failed, but after being eager to can firearms, Ikaji agreed to resume the slave trade. Europeans wanted a large shipload of captured and enslaved men and women from one boat. But since Dahomey was in constant conflict with the Oyo Kingdom or Western Nigeria, there was always a teeming number of Africans captured on both sides and given to Europeans in exchange for European firearms. Millions of these Yoruba descendants are found in Brazil, Trinidad, and Tobago because their population was wiped out. There are no black Argentines even today, but plenty of black Brazilians exist. Sometimes, one horse was exchanged for 15 captives from these battles. Or they caught horses from the Hasi traders from the Sifani or northern Nigeria in exchange for slaves, who were sold to merchants in Kano, who sold these persons to the Arab traders along the trans-Saharan trade routes. Europeans often miscalculated how long it would take Dahomey to gather a shipload of captured men and women. Slaves often exhausted the coast's wood supplies, and thousands died of starfish. King Wikbaji of the Oyo Kingdom devised a scheme that often estranged descendants of enslaved men and women. He began sacrificing these men and women to a deity he conceived. He convinced his subjects that he was doing the captives a favor instead of allowing them to die of starfish. These were their enemies, and he told his people that the sacrifices would ensure the power of their kingdom over rivals like the Oyo Kingdom to their east, which the Dahomey people hated, and the Ashanti kingdom to the west. This was the route of mass human sacrifice often attributed to the Dahomey kingdom and voodoo. There were enslaved men and women from Keto of the Oyo kingdom who would express thankful relief when these European slave ships arrived and halted the sacrifices on sighting slave ships. But the Yoruba kingdom of Oyo made Dahomey a tributary state of their kingdom and demanded slaves as a tribute to the Oyo crown. Dahomey broke free eventually and declared war on the Oyo kingdom, which was eclipsed by the British and the French conquest. Europeans saw these blooded sins occasionally, saying they saved Africans from mass sacrifices. It's all in a book called Sins of Our Fathers, where the author wrote that many Europeans persuaded him to state clearly that the transatlantic slave trade was the responsibility of the African chiefs. In response to this, historian Walter Rodney said, as though, without the European demands, there would have been captives sitting on the beaches in their million, waiting to be chained into the slave ships. As the Abooksigun got closer to the bridge, they became quiet. Once they reached the shores of Quebec, New York, they were 3 miles away, with water between them and the bridge. I found said over their base, the rest is up to y'all. Abooksigun said, no problem. Ikaut, Demra, or you thinking what I'm thinking علامة استفهام. Demrati looked at him, way ahead of you. Looking at Iran, let's try something. It takes me approximately 3 seconds to freeze enough water to walk across. Carry me so I don't have to walk, just fast enough to make this process faster. Ikaut cried to go behind them and reinforce it. Iran smiled, no problem. Waiting at the shore while Ran, Ikaut, and Demra created a nice bridge. Old one said to Abooksigun, don't get me wrong, but you are one of the most cryingest motherfucker I have ever met in my whole life. But you have a pure heart, and you ain't no bank either. Abooksigun smiled, thanks, I guess, but imagine how much Sabaoth cries looking at us. Rani and Demrati made it to the blind spot found made, and the crew gathered to the wall. They worked their way to the top of the outer wall and slid to the top of the bridge. Once everyone made it to the rooftop, Ran, Ikaut, and Demrati built an ice bridge for their return, and Hafiz and the rest of the crew destroyed the iron doors and cells. They went cell by cell and worked their way to the basement. They were about to leave when Mrs. appeared, pointing to a door, solitary confinement, while they cleared at solitary confinement. Rani was the only speedster there as Demra froze the door. Ran, using his speed, shattered it, and an old man sat there and looked up, staring at the old one's knife, أشك وعلامة استفهام. Old one looked at the old man, do I know you علامة استفهام. The old man said, I am Kimoni, of the Tyrone clan, Frau Ayobo. Everyone there was curious. Old one, do you know each other علامة استفهام. Abooksigun asked. The old man, Kimoni, said, clever how you changed your name to Old One, Ashikau, King of Mowli, the Steelmaker. It was your knife that gave you away. Old One raised his eyes. We don't have time for this now. We will discuss this later. Let's do what we came to do and get out here. The old man Selma, a young man without legs, said to Abooksigun, I am Eth. How can I live here علامة استفهام. I'm missing my legs. Rani said, that'll not be a problem. And took the old man to the rest and came back. As he returned, Hafiz was there helping to clear at the rest of the men. They gathered all the men and carried them to the prison's uttermost wall, and there stood a sheet of ice, and they slid them to the shoreline. I found told, now go to the computer room but send the rest on, except one of those fast keys. Abooksigun said, speedster علامة استفهام. Phone left, yeah, one of them. Guiding them to the computer room, looking at the blueprint of the building as the two men appeared as doubts, phone said. Stop that door on your right. All the cowards left on the island, and that prison was pretty much a world of its own. They make their own rules and run it as they want, so we need to hack into the computer system to prevent them from sending the alarm to the, as you say, the Babel. Turn the laser cannons 180 degrees and build a heat-seeking force field of laser to prevent them from exiting the prison and island. With the door shut, dismantle everything, alarms, boats, and skycrafts if they have them, and get the hell out of there. Once everything was done, Rani carried Abooksigun to the wall where they were sliding down to the shoreline, and Abooksigun asked Old One, so, who's the old man? Old One علامة استفهام. Old One had a look on his face Abooksigun had never seen before as Old One said to him, my family was the number one in making and creating things of iron and steel, and this knife has been in my family for centuries. I'm the last, at least, I thought I was the last of my people. Old One slides down the ice without finishing his statement. As he felt the ice across his backside, memories came to him as a kid playing with his brothers and cousins down a waterfall. Flashes of his wife and kids saturated his mind as he slides to the shoreline with the crew and sees the old mannequin. Old One cries. He sees the thoughts of what the old man thinks of him and the honor he holds of him. Old One slopes like a baby. Abooksigun looked at him, crying as Nick. Once we get rid ourselves of our demons, we can be human again. Demons like lust, pride, hatred, and selfishness prevent us from being human. We become human. We become spiritual, godlike, and only then can we cry. Old One looked at Abooksigun. The old man is my great uncle. Phone shouted over their base. There are some teenagers coughing off just a quarter of a mile from you. They saw you. They are heading to their skycraft. You must catch them before they get away, or else all this will be for nothing. Hafiz quickly ran toward the teenagers and captured them all. What am I to do with them علامة استفهام. Abooksigun answered, if you let them live, we shall go to war. If you kill them and hide their bodies, we have a chance to finish what we came here to do. Now, you tell me. After questioning the teens, the prisoners voluntarily killed them, tied them with stones, and threw them into the sea. The prisoners that could fit into the new garments made by the crew put on the outfits, and the rest were escorted to Abooksigun's home as the women made a big breakfast for everyone. Abooksigun and the Dirty 30 were so excited they could not sleep, so they all went to the Juneteenth celebration again the next day. Some prisoners joined them, and they sang like never before. Abooksigun got up on stage and started singing, yeah, this is for my brothers in the hood and the high-risers, on the mansions with the maids. And the crowd joined in as they sang, The Best Man I Can Be, by Genuine, Aural, Cass, and Tyrese. Touched by the sound, the prisoner with athletics, Ether, said, I would like to do a couple of rap songs. Abooksigun smiled, no problem. Abooksigun and then picked up Ethan, taking him to the piano. Ethan began playing the piano. I done been in bad situation but na niki abna. I done been in bad situation na niki abna. Performing, bad situation, by Maura. The crowd cheered as Ethan and then sang, Kato Story, by Bozi Badas and Imau Thalatha. Everyone cheered him on, and Abooksigun laughed, Man, you could do one more. He thought for a few seconds and sang, Yeah. You was my dog, you was my brother, you was my fam, you was my kin, all our. Nothing. Performing another song by Maurati called Switch Up. Abooksigun and then were impressed, Man, you killed it. Ethan smiled. It runs in the family from my great aunt in Ireland to my cousins. Then they stopped him. Hold on. Abooksigun's mother, Inai, is from Ireland. Ethan said, That's cool. My great aunt was named Inai also, the Queen of Ireland. Abooksigun pulled at his necklace and said, This Inai علامة استفهام. Ethan smiled, Yeah, the same one. We're cousins. Excited, Abooksigun looked at him, came back on stage for the last song. Please. The entire Dirty 30 was on stage, and then the music began, they played, and the crowd danced. Get your bookie back down, y'all. Where's all the humping people at علامة استفهام? Were they at علامة استفهام as they performed their last song, Humping, by the Cab Band. The show was a tremendous success. The people had never enjoyed themselves in such a long time. They wanted more but not tried, and sleepy Abooksigun and then carried Ethan back to Abafounen's home. Dan asks, How did you lose your legs علامة استفهام? Ethan replied, When I arrived here almost a year ago, I came ashore with both of them. They punished me slowly, first my toes on my right foot, then the left foot, then the rest of my right foot, and then the left. Then my right leg up to my knees, then the left. Dan asked, Why علامة استفهام? Ethan said, Not bang down and speaking to the inmates about Sabbath and hope. Some of my worst enemies were the inmates because they either hated the truth or didn't want to know it. Knowing the truth meant you needed to change. And I realized you could tell someone 1,000 times the truth, and they will debate it all the while that truth is happening around them. And then when it takes place, they will say, I didn't know. No. You didn't want to know. Abooksigun, old one, and then divided the people throughout الثالث. The non-believers moved to the Kato. However, he insists they work together on the land for wood and other essentials, saying, You don't work, you don't eat. Abooksigun starts calling the people's names to move to the Kato, Rini, Sabrain. Lanzo, the Muslim from earlier, knew these people would die, so he walked up to the front of the line before his name was called. Abooksigun saw Lanzo but ignored him as he continued to call out the names, Tine, Alimeo, Baraka. Abooksigun knew. Lanzo was the man who caught angry with him about telling the history of the Muslim and the slave trade and said to him, I didn't call your name. Lanzo said, I know it will be called. Abooksigun said, I didn't create history. Get your happy ass back out of the way. You're supposed to die just because we disagree with history, and what makes you think people who live in the ghetto will die علامة استفهام. If they do, it won't be bias. Motherfucker, you will kill for your people like I will just because we don't agree to some small shit. I'm going to kill you, please. I need motherfuckers like you. Bless, you misunderstood what I said anyways. For years, they have used psychological warfare to bitch people like us against one another. Like king and ex, you might see me as king, all gentle and kind, and I might think that you are ex compared to me. But you can show me your dear king, and I'll show you my Malcolm X side. Hell, even your name means code like. It's quite simple. We're humans with our own personal relationship with our creator. Who am I to say your relationship is not pure علامة استفهام? I'm seeking at selfish and evil men. I'm not calling people to religions. I'm calling people to Sabbath, period. They made us into beasts, and they profit off of us in the prison systems. Until I knew what my father knows, see what my father says or unless it tells me so, we all shall discuss and make decisions, but I will have my input, but we all shall. My uncle Daniel, a very young man at the time, once told my father to kill a ship full of evil people, but my father realized that Daniel was right. Whoever said, I freed 1,000 slaves, I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. Daniel said, even I know it was Haria. Tabman. Abooksigun said, not necessarily. Both historians Kat Clifford Lawson and Fergus Powdrich said the phrasing is inconsistent with Tabman's usual wording, and an author named Kimnab Sawyer said she didn't read nor write. They finished their conversation, and Lanzo walked off, embarrassed as Abooksigun continued calling at the names, Sintehu, Toydros, Deir, Istab.